Consistency is the silent force that builds habits and long-term results. And the truth is most people underestimate its power because it doesn't look flashy in the moment. It doesn't feel like a big win when you're in it. It's not the same rush as landing a promotion, hitting a big milestone, or receiving praise for your work. Consistency is quieter than that. It's the choice to get up at the same time every day, even when no one's checking on you. It's the commitment to follow through on your word, even when you could easily make an excuse. It's doing the small things with excellence over and over again until those small things add up into something that looks effortless to everyone else, but that you know took years to create. People tend to look for massive, life-changing events to define their success, but the reality is that success is usually made up of small, repetitive actions performed so consistently that they become second nature. Consistency removes the need for constant decision-making because the action becomes a part of who you are, not just what you do when you feel like it. It's easy to be excited on day one. Everyone can start strong. The real test is whether you can keep going on day 20, day 200, or day 2000 when the initial excitement has worn off and the results still seem far away. That's the space where most people quit because it feels like nothing is happening, but it's exactly where everything is happening beneath the surface. Just like planting a seed, you can't see the roots growing in the soil, but they are spreading and strengthening with every day you show up. Consistency is the water and sunlight that feed that growth. Skip it too many times, and the roots weaken before the plant has a chance to bloom. What makes consistency so powerful is that it compounds over time. The effect of doing something every day, every week, or every month builds a momentum that's hard to stop. Think about fitness. One workout won't change your body, but 3 workouts a week for a year will transform it completely. The same principle applies to learning a skill, building a business, or improving a relationship. It's the repetition that locks in the gains. And here's the key: consistency doesn't require perfection. Missing a day isn't failure. What matters is getting back to it the next day and maintaining the overall pattern. A consistent effort, even if imperfect, will beat bursts of intense effort followed by long stretches of inactivity every time. There's also a psychological side to consistency that's often overlooked. When you keep promises to yourself day after day, you build self-trust. You start to see yourself as reliable, capable, and strong. You no longer rely solely on outside motivation because you've proven to yourself that you can follow through. This self-trust becomes a foundation that supports bigger challenges. You're more willing to take risks, to step into uncomfortable situations, and to pursue long-term goals because you've seen what happens when you stick to something over time. Consistency turns the impossible into the inevitable simply by making progress feel normal. It also teaches patience. In a world addicted to instant gratification, consistency forces you to slow down and trust the process. It's uncomfortable at first because you're used to chasing quick wins and immediate feedback. But over time you realize that the most valuable rewards are the ones that take the longest to build. Consistency helps you detach from the obsession with results and focus on the process itself. You stop thinking in terms of, how fast can I get there? And start thinking, how can I keep going for as long as it takes? This shift changes everything because it allows you to outlast others who burn out chasing shortcuts. Consistency also simplifies life. When you commit to a consistent routine, you remove decision fatigue. You no longer waste mental energy deciding whether to do something. You just do it because it's part of your rhythm. Writers who write every morning don't debate whether they're in the mood. They sit down and write. Athletes who train daily don't ask if today feels right. They show up and do the work. This mental clarity frees you to put energy into improving your craft instead of wrestling with the choice to start. It turns discipline into a habit and habits into identity. The beautiful thing about consistency is that it works in every area of life. In relationships, consistent attention, respect, and communication build trust over years, making them resilient against storms. In careers, consistently delivering quality work builds a reputation that opens doors you never saw coming. In health, consistently making small choices like drinking enough water, moving your body, and sleeping well adds up to massive changes in how you feel and function. And in personal growth, consistently reading, reflecting, and challenging yourself creates a mindset that can handle anything life throws at you. The principle doesn't change. The only difference is where you choose to apply it. People often look for motivation, but motivation is fleeting. You can't depend on it to carry you through the days when life gets messy. Consistency is different. It doesn't care how you feel that day. It's not about excitement. It's about commitment. When you show up over and over again, something shifts inside you. The work stops being a question and becomes a given. That's when you start to see results others call overnight success, even though you know it's been built quietly over years. Consistency is like a slow, moving river. It doesn't look powerful at first, but over time it carves through rock and reshapes entire landscapes. It works silently, persistently, and without apology. It doesn't rush, but it never stops moving forward, and that's why it always wins. Discipline and mindset turn effort into unstoppable progress because effort by itself can be scattered, inconsistent, and easily derailed if it doesn't have the structure and perspective to guide it. You can work hard for a day, a week, or even a month, but without discipline, that effort is vulnerable to distraction, comfort, and the temptation to take the easy way out. Discipline is what anchors you to your goals when everything else tries to pull you away. It's the ability to tell yourself no when every part of you wants to say yes to the shortcut, the break, or the excuse. Discipline isn't built overnight. It's forged through countless small decisions to stay the course. It's the invisible backbone behind every achievement that looks impressive from the outside. When you see someone succeed at a high level, you're not seeing the full picture. You're seeing the tip of the iceberg. What you don't see are the thousands of moments where discipline kept them working when no one was watching, when no one cared, and when they didn't feel like doing it themselves. Mindset, on the other hand, is the filter through which you see the world. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about the deep, ingrained belief that you are capable of growth, adaptation, and success, even when circumstances are against you. A strong mindset doesn't deny challenges. It faces them head on with the expectation that they can be overcome. Without the right mindset, even the best discipline can feel like a punishment instead of a pathway. A person can be consistent in their actions, but if their mindset is one of defeat, doubt, or fear, those actions will be limited in their impact. Mindset decides whether you see obstacles as roadblocks or as opportunities to innovate and get stronger. Two people can be given the same resources, the same instructions, and the same time frame. One will quit halfway because they've convinced themselves it's impossible, and the other will push through simply because they believe they can. That belief doesn't guarantee success instantly, but it keeps them moving until success becomes inevitable. When discipline and mindset come together, they create a force that transforms not just results, but identity. Discipline provides the structure. You wake up at the same time. You train on the days you said you would. You study even when you're tired. You follow the plan without constantly negotiating with yourself. Mindset fuels the drive behind that structure. It tells you why it matters. It keeps you focused on the bigger picture. It turns every challenge into a lesson instead of a failure. Without discipline, mindset can become a daydream that never materializes into reality. Without mindset, discipline can feel like a prison that eventually breaks you down. But together, they keep you aligned, motivated, and resilient. Discipline teaches you that feelings aren't the deciding factor. Actions are. There will be days you feel tired, unmotivated, uninspired. Those days are where discipline steps in and says, "We still show up." It turns goals into commitments and commitments into habits. Discipline removes the debate. You no longer waste mental energy wondering if you should do the work. You simply do it because that's what disciplined people do. This automatic follow-through frees up your mental space to focus on improving your craft, your performance, or your understanding instead of getting stuck in the cycle of starting and stopping. Mindset, meanwhile, shapes the meaning of that work. It keeps you from seeing effort as wasted when results aren't immediate. It reminds you that progress often happens in the background, invisible at first, and that the process is just as important as the destination. A strong mindset accepts that failure is part of the journey and treats it as feedback rather than a final verdict. It lets you hold on to your vision even when the present moment is full of setbacks. It allows you to adapt instead of break when things don't go according to plan. This flexibility is critical because even the most disciplined plan will face unexpected disruptions, and without the right mindset, those disruptions can feel like the end. With the right mindset, They're just another step in the climb. Both discipline and mindset thrive on each other. The more disciplined you are, the more your mindset strengthens because you start proving to yourself that you are capable of doing hard things. Every time you stick to your plan despite the temptation to quit, you add evidence to your belief that you can handle whatever comes. Likewise, the stronger your mindset becomes, the easier it is to stay disciplined because you've trained yourself to see challenges as worth facing. It's a cycle of growth where each one reinforces the other, making it harder and harder for outside forces to knock you off track. Consider someone training for a marathon. Without discipline, they might run only on the days they feel like it, skipping when the weather is bad or when they're tired. Without mindset, they might view a bad run as proof they're not cut out for it. But with discipline, they run on schedule regardless of mood or conditions, and with mindset, they see the bad run as a learning experience to improve technique, pacing, or endurance. Over time, those two qualities transform them from someone who occasionally runs into someone who identifies as a runner. That shift in identity is where unstoppable progress comes from, because now the actions are no longer just tasks on a checklist, they're an expression of who you are. Discipline also builds respect, both self-respect and the respect of others. People trust those who follow through. They know they can depend on someone disciplined because they've seen them keep their word. That trust opens doors in relationships, careers, and opportunities. Mindset builds influence because people are drawn to those who remain calm, focused, and hopeful in the face of difficulty. They're inspired by someone who can stay grounded while others panic, who can see the light when others only see the darkness. Together, discipline and mindset not only create personal success, but also position you as someone who can lead, encourage, and guide others toward their own goals. Neither discipline nor mindset is fixed. They're skills that can be developed through intentional practice. Discipline grows every time you follow through on something hard. Mindset grows every time you choose to interpret a challenge in a way that empowers you instead of defeats you. The more you practice, the more automatic these skills become until they are less about conscious effort and more about instinctive behavior. This is when effort stops being sporadic and starts becoming unstoppable because it's no longer something you have to push yourself into. It's simply what you do and who you are.